was chaos at Target Center on Sunday. Former Sun Lasia Clarendon nearly wins the ball game as time expires, but as we know, it's a game of inches. The ball does not release in time. No problem, though, for Clarendon. The newest member of Minnesota becomes a hero in overtime, and just when the Sun thought it was a sigh of relief, a wide-open three to seal the deal. Connecticut looks to bounce back tonight on Nesson. Happy June 1st and welcome inside Mohegan Sun Arena. The 6-2 Connecticut Sun welcome in the 5-2 Las Vegas Aces. These two teams meet for the second time in the 2021 season. Brendan Glasheen and Danny Kleppinger, great to have you with us tonight. It's really been a terrific start for the Connecticut Sun this season, and now we shift gears to this Las Vegas team, a team that really had a hard time stopping the big three of Connecticut in the paint 9 days ago.
Oh, absolutely. DeWanna Bonner, Jonquel Jones, and Brianna Jones scored 60 of their total 72 points. They were absolutely unbelievable in that first game. It was just over a week ago. It wasn't that long ago. And these two teams have become somewhat of a rivalry. We saw them go the distance in the semifinal last year, and then now just another great matchup. 32 out of 24 points outscored them in the paint. That was the story in this game, and not to mention the rebounding, Brendan. Vegas only had one offensive rebound in the entire game, whereas the Sun had 16, 12 second chance points, and that was the story in that game. If they can come into here and do the same thing once again, they got another shot to sweep them.
Bonner, Jonquel Jones, and Brianna Jones combined for 60 of the 72 points that were needed for the Sun to win that basketball game. There were also some other things going on the side at that basketball game. Kurt Miller, head coach of the Sun, had some words for Liz Cambage. He was then suspended for one game, fined $10,000. We have found out that the two met at court distance today. There's coach with Liz Cambage, and great to see when problems are resolved.
Absolutely. It's good to see that they were able to hug it out after that whole situation. And now I understand that it may be in the rearview mirror for Coach Miller, but Liz Cambage, I'm not so sure she has that short of a memory. Not exactly a player for the Sun that you would want, not exactly a player for the Aces that the Sun would want to have extra motivation coming into this game, that's for sure. But nice to see them reconcile.
She did drop 53 points in a game, a WNBA record just a couple of years ago. So that means Jonquel Jones might have her hands full tonight, but she is up for the task based on what she's done so far this season, averaging a double-double. Only one other player can say that, Brianna Stewart of Seattle.
If the season ended today, Jonquel Jones would be the MVP, and in my opinion, it's not even close. Her inside-out game is truly unguardable, and for her to have this sort of production just 7 games into her return from being away from the team for over a year, having to gel with multiple new players, not to mention the added pressure with Alyssa Thomas out, it's impressive what she's been able to do.
There's no question. Let's find out more about what impact JJ is making on this team with the third member of our team, Robin Brown.
Jonquel Jones has physically been playing out of her mind, but I want to take an exclusive look inside of Jonquel Jones' mind. And after missing last season, JJ said she wanted to come into this one extremely prepared. And it was about the mental component for JJ. During the offseason, she had many conversations with assistant coach Avi Story about her mental fortitude. She said, all of those around me were saying that I was an elite player, but I had to believe that I was an elite player. So she increased her positive self-talk. She increased the inner dialogue that she was having with herself. So we're seeing a combination here. The physical performance with the mental, and that's where JJ's elevating her game. Brendan?
Robin, looking forward to seeing how JJ responds after a loss on Sunday. Connecticut and Las Vegas do it again for the second time this year. And as we spoke about, a rematch of last year's WNBA semifinals. Sun Aces tip-off and lineups coming next on Nesson. Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. For Connecticut, the second straight game with Jasmine Thomas and Breon January in the backcourt DeWanna Bonner, Brianna Jones, and Jonquel Jones down on the block. And for the Las Vegas Aces, Jackie Young, one of the promising young players in the W, with veteran Raquana Williams. Chelsea Gray picked up from Los Angeles with reigning MVP Asia Wilson and Liz Cambage, leader in the W in blocks. There's Bill Laimbeer, head coach of the Las Vegas Aces, his 4th season with this team, his 17th in the W. He is 1 win away from becoming 2nd all-time in WNBA wins with 287 entering tonight's contest. A native of Boston, Bill Laimbeer, and on the other side, Curt Miller, his 6th year with the Connecticut Sun, 95 wins, the 2017 WNBA coach and executive of the year, tied with the Sun through 2024 after signing an extension a few days into the new year. Great to have you with us tonight. The first of 4 games in the WNBA. 7 o'clock tip-off will be underway shortly. Brendan Glasheen, Danny Kleppinger, Robin Brown as well down on the sidelines. We talked to Curt Miller prior to the game today, and he wants that defensive mindset, controlling the glass as they did against this Aces team 9 days ago. While that was not exactly to a T on Sunday, if they can carry that over, that's why this team's won 75% of their games.
Absolutely. He says it all the time. Rebounding and defense, especially defensive rebounding, right? Because offensively, you're going to have games where you struggle. There's going to be some nights where you just flat out don't play very well offensively, but those defensive rebounds and just getting it done on the defensive end of the court can give your team energy to be successful on maybe a quote-unquote off night.
Minnesota's won 3 straight, or pardon me, Las Vegas has won 3 straight coming into this one. Connecticut coming off a loss to Minnesota on Sunday. Jackie Young helps corral the opening tip, and we're underway. Las Vegas and Connecticut. 2nd time this season into Cambage, looking to get her going early.
We talked about it, Brendan, a lot before this game happened. We expect Cambage to be a big part of this game, but to see her on the board early just is fitting for what we talked about.
Leads her squad in field goal percentage at 60% on the season. Brianna Jones taking it to her. Cambage denies. The W's leader in blocks, making an impact on both ends in the opening 40 seconds. Raquana Williams wearing the face mask, last touched by Brianna January. Las Vegas reached the 2020 WNBA Finals, swept by Seattle. This is a team that does have championship aspirations, even though the lineup is very different. Asia Wilson, the only returning starter from those finals a year ago, but this group has started to mesh. Offensive rebound, and Jasmine Thomas is there, picks the pocket, and Connecticut's on the board.
Wow, what a turn of events there, because at first it's that first offensive rebound for Asia Wilson, and immediately my thoughts are, hey, don't get her going on the offensive boards, but able to turn that into a defensive play and some offense for the Sun. That really flipped the script there on that possession.
Brianna January steps into a transition triple. It's a long 2 for Brianna. Nice to see her get going after having a tough shooting night, 3 for 10 against Minnesota Sunday.
Absolutely, and to see the Sun just get out to a little bit of a hot start, those are great plays to start the game, and to knock down 2 shots right there. A fabulous way to start the game, especially knowing that that's how they got success against the Aces, at least starting out just over a week ago.
72-65 win. That was game 2 of a 3-game West Coast trip for Connecticut. Jonquel Jones not shy, taking the 3 and remains red hot. Nearly 50% from distance this season.
At her size, it's unbelievable that we're saying that, right? She's deadly from anywhere on the court. We talked about that in the open, but the fact that she doesn't just step out to the short corner, but all the way out to the 3 makes her so dangerous.
20 made 3s now for Jonquel Jones on exactly 40 attempts. Sets the screen. January in the air. Flutters off the rim.
You think she was excited to get back on the court or what?
No kidding. Well, her teammates, even assistant coach Brandy Poole, said just the way she carried herself, a clear head coming into the season. She's meshed so well with DeWanna Bonner especially, who's given her more confidence. Up to Bonner. Las Vegas makes the stop, had some coverage up the other end defensively. Jonquel's been very complimentary of DeWanna, just playing with her, having a vet tell her, hey, you can do it against anybody in this league. Take it to him. Jasmine Thomas, call it a pass, and Cambage is hit with a foul.
Hey, if she made it, that would have been an assist. I agree. I don't think she meant it to be a pass, but it worked out really well to fall right into the fingertips. Down low, outside, making an impact early.
Here we go,
Jonquel Jones, 75% free throw shooter this season, went 4 for 4 Sunday at Minnesota. Pretty soon she might start shooting the three more at a high percentage than free throws.
I was going to say, if that happens, that's a little bit of a problem. I anticipate her continuing to get to the free throw line, but not a terrible percentage.
It's a reach. Sun by 6. Chelsea Gray lobs in, Cambage rattles in, touches every piece of the iron, and clearly, Danny, there is a plan here for Vegas to go through Cambage early and often.
Absolutely. She was getting position from the moment that possession started and calling for the basketball. She, call it showing their numbers. She was showing her full number to her teammate, knowing she was wide open on the block and able to finish.
Jonquel Jones on the offensive glass. Connecticut, a top 4 team in the W in offensive rebounding. At the end of last week, was pacing the league in offensive boards. Behind the back pass into Cambage, finds the baseline cutter. Great play.
Great play and a great find with just a little bit of a late rotation there by that Sun defense. They went for the trap off the ball screen. They had a good rotation on that first one. It was the second backside rotation that was late.
Oh man, Jasmine Thomas bursts right by Asia Wilson. Ball's tipped around. Breon January secures it. And it's last touched by January. She felt it was poked from behind out of bounds.
She might have been right. Oh no, it's right off of her hand, and the official was right there, made a good call. That's a good call.
4.5 minutes gone by, first quarter. Tough shot, Chelsea Gray looking for her own shot. She's been a great distributor in her first season with Las Vegas. Connecticut snares the defensive board. Now up 7-3 on the boards early. Out-rebounded this team by 18 when they met earlier in the season. Thomas surveys 7 to shoot into Jonquel Jones. Fall away with the double, in and out. Offensive board, Brianna Jones, outlets, January, 3, got it.
That was a great overall possession there. JJ got herself a good shot at the rim. You had a flying in Jones for the rebound, and then able to find a shooter who's set and ready to shoot. Those are what you practice, right? You set shots, set threes. January able to knock it down.
Wilson, tough shot. Buries it from the elbow. Well, a play like that by Brianna Jones was sort of her coming out party against Las Vegas and the performance against Seattle. You put so much attention on JJ and DeWanna Bonner. She's bound to get opportunities, and she made the most of them.
She has such a knack for offensive rebounds. What a great look there for her to drive. If you got Cambage that far out on you up top, I would take her to the rack as well. It was a great decision, just didn't fall. But the way she's able to sneakishly get in there for offensive boards, Brianna Jones, it's because other people are going to trap her teammates, right? So then she gets a mismatch on those O boards.
We'll step aside from Mohegan Sun. Connecticut leading and getting out on the break. Jasmine Thomas, Sun by 5 in the first. Sun by 5, 6 minutes gone by in this first quarter. And Brianna Jones, we've discussed the impact and the growth she's had in her career. This is year number 5 for the forward out of Maryland, and we wondered what would it look like with Jonquel Jones back. They did spend some time together in 2019, but the growth is there, and credit to Brianna Jones. That might be the toughest when you're part of a big three with DeWanna Bonner, Jonquel Jones, Danny, just trying to find your role. You don't want to get in anybody's way, but she's making every bit of her opportunities.
Yeah, well, she didn't start her first 3 seasons with the Sun and now has become an integral part of what they're trying to do. But when you put her on the court with someone like JJ, now you've got driving lanes, like you saw her take Cam Beige off the dribble, because people can't double team her down low because they've got to worry about JJ. It actually benefits her, and it's nice to see her kind of come into her own and understand the benefits of playing with another great post player.
When Jonquel Jones is making threes, forget about it. There's an empty post. Now it's JJ backing down. Here comes that double team. Bill Lambier's prioritized that. Oh, in and out for Jasmine Thomas. Great look by Jonquel to swing it. So after a couple of free throws, Connecticut by 3, turnover Vegas. Chelsea Gray making those free throw attempts. We had a chance to hear from Bill Lambier pregame, and he's basically been preaching to his team, continue to push the ball, play the entire 40 minutes. We're starting to figure out who we are. That's what he said after the win against Indiana last week. There's Bree Jones taking advantage of an open J.
Yeah, back to what Coach Lambier was talking about. He mentioned it, and Asia Wilson mentioned it, so you know it's something they're focusing on. Hey, basketball's a game of runs. I think we heard that 27 times already today, and we talked to just 3 people on the Aces roster. I mean, yes, it's a game of runs, but it's about sustaining those runs, and I think that that's a great point, because people are going to throw their punches in a game, but who's going to be able to hold out longer and stay strong? And I think that that's what they mean by playing their style of basketball all the way through 40 minutes.
Shot clock to 8, under 3 to go, opening quarter. Jonquel Jones. Runner goes. Great body control. Jonquel Jones up to 8 points in this first quarter.
That's a snazzy little move there, some footwork.
The footwork has been outstanding. You can tell when Jonquel's playing overseas, when she was in Russia, and also not playing last year, she still fine-tuned her game. The range also explains that. A wide open 3, but a whistle off the ball on the baseline. Ball was out of bounds.
Didn't quite see where that foul happened, but I liked Jasmine Thomas's idea to try to get to the rim and then find an open shooter. That looked good, but somewhere off the ball there was a foul. I missed that.
Connecticut by 7. Jackie Young using the Wilson screens, leans in, no foul, left it well short. Bonner up ahead. Young might have gotten involved there. Was looking to feed JJ. It's a great play by De'Erica Hamby, the 7th-year forward out of Wake Forest, 2-time 6th Woman of the Year in the W, won it last year and the year before. We were talking pregame quite a bit, comparing the bench production, and Hamby gives this team a lot, gives teams headaches coming off the bench. Scored a team-high 22 off the bench against Indiana last time out.
Well, and the last time that the Sun and the Aces played each other, their bench outscored them 15-0. I mean, that really shows just the type of production Las Vegas is able to get out of their bench players like Hamby. They really do bring a spark, and they're a pivotal part of what the Aces do. There's no drop-off when they sub in.
Raquana Williams. Hamby attacks and lays it in. Right on cue, De'Erica Hamby's on the board with 90 seconds to go in this first quarter. Down in Bradenton, Florida, in the Wubble, these two met in the WNBA semifinals. It went the distance. Beatrice Montpremier, fresh into the game, turns it over. Williams bounces it. Hamby does the rest.
And this was something that Breon January talked about when to the media today. Hey, we can't give them transition buckets because that's what they want. They want to be able to push the ball in transition, and that's something that they've got to put a stop to right now. Don't let that get out of hand.
Las Vegas, 10 of the team's 14 points are in the paint. Vegas leads the W in points in the paint per game. Stephanie Jones checks in, and Dejanay Carrington into the ball game to give Bonner a breather. DeWanna Bonner's played a ton of minutes as of late. Played 41 in the overtime game. was exhausted here against the Mystics last week. Our own Robin Brown learned firsthand about that.
She's 33 years old, but she doesn't seem to slow down, does she?
She does not.
I need to understand what her diet plan is.
Natisha Heidemann into the game as well, but a whistle prior to her release.
The ref didn't love that little push off from Heidemann to get that open shot. A little ticky-tacky, but nonetheless, you can't do it, can't push off, can't extend your arm, and it was right in front of the referee.
Jonquel Jones hit with the personal. That's her first. Destiny Slocum, the rookie out of Arkansas, runs the show now for Vegas. Pass into the paint, tipped. Hamby has it against Stephanie Jones. Hamby, tough shot. Corralled by Carrington. Shot clock and game clock pretty much even here. Heidemann recycles. Jasmine Thomas and Jonquel Jones, the only starters on the floor for Connecticut. Heidemann, shot clock to 4, crosses over, stutter step, leans in, got it!
What a take by Heidemann. Nothing was going her way offensively in terms of her play that she set up. She finds a way to get it done herself.
And as you can see, Mohegan Sun is kind to the Connecticut Sun. They dominate at home. The 15-2 record was when the team went to the WNBA Finals. A 3-0 start so far in 2021. The third member of our team is Robin Brown. She has more on Connecticut dominating at home.
Well, Brendan, in that first huddle, the energy wild and alive. And one thing that Curt Miller said was how pleased he was about this team and how they were getting into their second actions. Earlier on in the season, you would see that they would rush as the shot clock was winding down, but the patience and the poise that the team is playing with, and just that shot alone from Natisha Heidemann at the buzzer, she waited, she drove, and she finished. Brendan?
Thank you, Robin. Heidemann has high expectations for herself coming off the bench and being a consistent spark plug.
That's a great point, Robin, by the way. Tremendous point, in fact, because that's exactly what happened there on that last possession. She waited. She waited for the ball screen. She waited for the play to happen. And then as the clock was winding down, she had enough poise to go to the basket, take it herself, and finish it. That was what made that possession so valuable. I like that report, Robin, because Curt Miller's absolutely right. They are taking their time, finding the right shot, good patience. That's how you don't speed up and make turnovers, is if you're not speeding yourself up. If you're calm, cool, collected, you're not going to turn the ball over.
It was just 2 years ago. Heidemann was cut by this team, one of the final cuts before rosters were finalized. And coming into this year, really exciting when she'd come into the game, her attention to detail defensively. On the offensive end, taking a lot of threes, so finding different ways to impact the game and really broadening her skill set. That was obvious on that last play. Shot clock to 7 for Vegas. Connecticut leads by 5. The reverse attempt by Jisoo Park comes up empty. Park will represent South Korea in the Summer Olympics in Tokyo in about a month. Dejanay Carrington off the mark from 3. Slocum with the rebound. Erica Hamby around Carrington. Tough shot, great contest, and that's what Carrington brings as a rookie off the bench.
Great defensive effort there by Carrington. She stayed disciplined in her defense. She kept her in front of her and then didn't foul when Hamby tried to force it up. That was tremendous defense there by Carrington.
Heidemann with the hesitation dribble. Picks it up, shot clock to 5. Jasmine Thomas bolts around the screen. Floater short. Williams secures. Hamby running the floor. Great feed, and Hamby lays it in.
That was a little bit of a lack of effort there by the Sun. They had 3 players back. It was a 2-on-3, and the Aces able to get a layup there. That was just a little bit of a lack of hustle.
2-time 6th Woman of the Year, De'Erica Hamby has 6 of the team's 16. Hard screen by JJ. Thomas. Kim Beige steps into a J, well short. Crowd will let her hear it.
As they should. That's the pro of playing at home, right? To just heckle the other team, especially one of the other team's best players. But that's tough to do when you're kind of running full speed and then just stop in your tracks and shoot a jumper. Not exactly something that the big post players do extremely well. So I understand how it may have fell a little short.
She's Danny Kleppinger, Brendan Glasheen, Robin Brown here as well. Thanks for joining us on Nesson as well as ESPN3. First game of 4 in the W tonight. Great fake by Brianna Jones, but Cam Beige says not today. Little selly after the block.
It was a good block. In fact, it was a good move that almost caused Jones to travel herself. I think she surprised herself at how good her fake was, but then Cam Beige had the discipline to be able to come up with that block.
Cam Beige already has 3 blocks in this one. She's coming off a league season high 5 blocks against Indiana.
So you saw Jones almost travel there on her first initial move, but Cam Beige just the discipline, and that's a pretty good swat.
Asia Wilson just 2 points for Vegas. When the Aces have scored, they're doing it in the paint. 12 of the 16 in the orange paint here at Mohegan. Slocum, great crossover fades. It looked good, but the shot was short. Shot clock violation.
She kind of had to shoot that just due to where the shot clock was, but it was a little bit of an off-balance shot. I would almost say she was doing a little too much there.
One thing that you were complimentary of at least for Vegas, getting points in transition, that's a difficulty right now for Connecticut to stop. But in the half court, they've had success.
Absolutely.
Bonner around the screen, bounces in. Bree Jones knocks it down. 4 for Brianna Jones. Cam Beige responds.
She's slamming her chest because that was very close to the same shot that she just airballed a couple possessions ago, so it's nice to see that she corrected it.
With that assist for Dewana Bonner, she's up to 800 in her career. Launches from 3, it's strong. Connecticut shooting 39%, Vegas just 35%. These are the 2 top scoring defenses in the W. Great patience by Wilson. Feels out her defender and finds the right shoulder.
That's what makes her so good. I mean, she's able to just stay composed down low and be able to give a couple different moves and be able to finish with just that light touch on the rim. She's very talented with her back to the basket.
Long possession for the Sun. And a foul, this one against Hamby, as Bonner spun to the baseline. Connecticut's lead is 1 with under 6 to go in this first half. Bill Lambier, Kurt Miller, they'll talk it over in a defensive battle. Connecticut leading Las Vegas by 1, 21-20. The Sun back in action here at home on Saturday. Sabrina Ionescu and the New York Liberty come to town. It's been a great story in New York, a team that won just 2 games last year. And Ionescu was out for the Wubble season. Her squad is at 5-2, and Vegas actually plays that New York team on Thursday. So lots to look forward to. And Danny, hearing from Kurt Miller, tonight's the 9th game in 19 days. He did say it was nice to sleep in our own beds last night, take a deep breath after quite a few games on the road.
I thought that was a great point by him. You know, there is nothing like your own bed and being able to have an evening to yourself. They finished up everything yesterday by 3 p.m. so that everybody could be on their own for dinner. And that says a lot, especially going into another big game for them, coming off a loss. To be able to have a second to regroup in your own space is so important.
Young pulls up, tough shot, batted around. 2 Sun players on top of Cam Beige. After the reset to 14, shot clock to 9. Brianna Jones hit with the reach over the shoulder of Cam Beige.
It's a great battle going on down there the entire time. The two of them are banging up against each other, but that was a reach around. Cambage just got great position and kind of forced Jones to have to reach around her.
Just the first personal on Brianna Jones. She fouled out on Sunday in the Minnesota game. Wilson off the catch. She's been, for the most part, taken out of this game. It was a tough shot. Wilson has 4 points, 2 of 4 shooting.
And after the last time these two teams played each other, it was actually Wilson that said, that was on me. I have to bring the energy. And she said it again today, that this was on her for her team to play well. And you haven't seen too much of her yet. I'm curious to see her turn it on.
Just looking back at that semifinal round last year in the Wubble, had 3 double-doubles, averaged north of 20 points a game, averaged a double-double for the series, just dominating as the league MVP. Cambage now up to 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting. And Vegas has its first lead tonight. Bonner into Jonquel Jones. Fadeaway is money.
Such patience there by the Sun offense. It goes back to that report Robin had earlier about using not the first look, but also looking for the second look, and they were able to find a great two-man game opportunity. The Sun team does a great job in the two-man game, that pick-and-roll style of play, because they have so many different players that can play off of it. They can do a post-to-post pick-and-roll, they can do a guard-to-post pick-and-roll, and then when you've got someone like JJ that can finish in all these different ways, it's hard to guard.
Breon January said earlier today that we're trying to sharpen our offense, and there is Breon January knocking it down to put Connecticut up 3. And Kurt Miller even admitted right after training camp a few days before the opener, he's just so excited to see what he can do offensively. He's an offensive-minded coach. Heidemann with the finish despite the contact. Great fast break. Letitia Heidemann, 4 points off the bench. Scored just 2 against Minnesota on Sunday. Some by 5. Hamby to Wilson, knocked away by Bonner. And draws a foul against Hamby. That is Hamby's second.
Great heads-up play there by DeWanna Bonner to be able to get her hand on the ball. She made sure she didn't reach in to get any sort of foul. It was all ball and able to poke it away and turn it into offense, or a little bit of offense. He at least got a foul knocked on Hamby, but another possession now for the Sun. Can they capitalize in a crucial moment?
Biggest lead was 7 for the Sun in the first quarter. Jonquel Jones has a chance to match it with 2 coming at the free throw line.
And I say crucial moment because, yeah, you look at there's 3:25 left in this quarter. There's not a crazy score differential, but this is where they can go up by even more baskets, and that's where JJ shines, right? She recognizes the opportunity. Hey, now we can get some extra points on the board, extend our lead here. Just good heads-up play from a veteran player.
I give the Sun credit. Opener against Atlanta, even the home game here against Indiana. Really pulverized the opponent, took care of business, got out in front and held the lead. And that West Coast trip, all 3 games were pretty tight. It just comes to show with 12 teams in the league, 144 of the best players in the world, it's hard to break away. Jonquel Jones had possession. Luckily, a last-minute recovery by Vegas. Now Jackie Young erupts into a J. It's short. Young has had a hard time in this one, now 1 for 6. Under 3 to play at Mohegan Sun Arena. Connecticut got the first one by 7 against Vegas. Thomas around the pick, decides to step to her right, fires well short.
Now that play was initially drawn up for Thomas to take a 3, but she didn't take the first one. I think she thought a hand was a little bit closer to her face than what we can at least see from up here. Probably would have been better off taking that first shot.
Oh, what a pass by Gray. Shovels it into Cambage. She has a chance to get into double figures. It's a good foul by Thomas, too, to not make it easy.
Good foul, make sure she misses it, but what a pass.
Yeah.
Just thread the needle right on in there to her teammate.
We'll keep it here with 2:34 to go in the half. Check that. We will step aside. Cambage free throws when we return. Connecticut has matched its largest lead of the night, 7. Welcome back to Mohegan Sun. Connecticut leads Las Vegas by 7. Brendan Glasheen, Danny Kleppinger. And for more on who's been a player coach so far in this young season, let's go to Robin Brown.
Well, Brendan, we talked earlier in the season about how Alyssa Thomas would still continue to lead this team from a vocal realm, from pulling players aside in practice to using her voice during timeouts. And as this team actually took off from practice yesterday, they did still watch film. And so I asked AT what that conversation was like in preparing for Vegas. And she said the biggest thing with Vegas was packing the paint, crowding the space from dominant posts like Liz Cambage and Asia Wilson. And you're seeing already that most of their shot attempts are not easy buckets. They're actually jump shots. So Connecticut is not drifting from their game plan, and it's working.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, thus far, Vegas 34.5% shooting, 10 for 29. Cambage, now the first Vegas player into double digits with 10 to go along with 4 rebounds and 3 blocks. Robin, Danny Kleppinger, Brendan Glasheen, good to have you with us tonight. Thomas for 3. She has been very strong from distance coming into this one. Thomas had made 6 of her last 9 from 3. And so far tonight, Jasmine's 0 for 3.
That was a better look for her, though. I anticipate if she got another shot in the same spot, in the same situation, she'd knock it down. That was a good in-flow 3. It just didn't fall.
Cambage heating up, 12 points. Bonner into Beatrice Montpremier, can't finish.
That's what I was saying about those post-to-post type of ball screens. Two-man game, they get great looks out of that.
Chelsea Gray fadeaway J, and Vegas down 1, a 6-0 run for Las Vegas. Chelsea Gray's been a phenomenal distributor, but can get her own shot when she needs to. She said the other day after that win over Indiana, this team is starting to trust me with the ball in my hands. At 12 assists in the first Indiana game. Like you said, Danny, this Vegas team won't go away. It's a very evenly matched matchup.
Absolutely, and that's why we were talking about it becoming somewhat of a rivalry, because these two teams really understand the identity of what each other wants to do and how to attack it. And let's bring up Robin's point earlier about what Kurt Miller had said, or what Alyssa Thomas had said, is the game plan. That's what worked last time. Crowding, showing bodies in the middle of the paint, right? It just forces people to have to take a little bit of an outside shot, or maybe make them second guess, hey, is that driving lane as open as I think it is? Does it look like I can get the ball in there? You start to second guess, and that half a second makes your defense be able to be successful. And I think that that's what Alyssa Thomas was getting at, and why it worked the first time and why it's working so far here today. And then the Aces, the same sort of deal. They're sort of taking the two-man game away a little bit. You've seen them kind of push out the different options out of those ball screens and maybe cause a couple turnovers or a few off-balance shots. But these two teams are getting very familiar with each other, especially after last year.
5-game series in the semifinals. Connecticut had a lead in that series, 2-1, and then Asia Wilson just went off and carried the Las Vegas squad to the finals, falling in a 3-game sweep to Seattle. One thing that's apparent as well in this one, Vegas much better on the glass, +1 when these two teams met 9 days ago. The Aces were out-rebounded by 18. 18 points in the paint tonight for Las Vegas. Breon January draws a foul against another veteran, Raquana Williams. She just stares at the official, didn't like what she saw.
Because she knows, hey, it's a one-point game. We worked them all the way down to the end of the shot clock, and I'm just not sure if that was a foul. It was. You know, she ran at her with both hands, and, I mean, January sold it a little bit, but, yeah, you can see the rolling of the eyes on Williams' face there. But she knows that it was a tough moment for her to get a foul there. That was exactly what they wanted, a good defensive possession.
Staying aggressive has been a key for the 9th-year guard out of Miami, playing the full 40 minutes. We had a chance to talk to her earlier this afternoon. How about the pregame meal for Raquana Williams, the pancake, the big pancake here.
You guys cannot see my hands when I try to show you how big this pancake was, but it was the size of a pizza.
I'd even go as far as to say it's like the size of the Connecticut Sun logo at midcourt.
It was pretty massive.
Sun by 3. Vegas with the ball. Chelsea Gray, fadeaway, got it.
Wow.
Chelsea Gray heating up, 6 points. Started slow. Another thing that pops out on the stat sheet, Vegas has attempted just 1 3-pointer, 0 for 1.
That was another miscommunication there on the Sun on that turnover there. I've noticed the few turnovers that they have, a lot of them are self-inflicted. A lot of just miscommunication. Throw up the court, kind of lob it to your teammate. Just not exactly anything that the Aces are doing to cause them to turn the ball over.
Yeah, 9 first-half turnovers, Connecticut's season high. They're on pace to match at 20. Season opener down in Atlanta. After the contested shot, Sun can hold for the final shot of this first half. Bonner held to 0 points in this one so far. 5 to shoot. Bonner leans in, and she gets a last-minute foul. The Vegas Aces cannot believe it.
Let's take a look at that, because I don't think I saw it. Our backs were to us a little bit, but here it is. Oh, she uses her body well, but I think she just threw the ball out of her hands. I think she got bailed out there, but here she has a chance to get on the board.
Bonner, a superb free throw shooter, leads the W in free throws made and free throws attempted. Yeah, Bill Lambier doesn't like it one bit.
She kind of scooped past it.
Sun by 3, 1.6 seconds for Gray. Heaves. Look good. You were giving it a chance, I could tell.
I thought maybe we were about to see another buzzer beater shot.
Well, these two played a tight battle in Las Vegas 9 days ago. A 7-point win for Connecticut in Game 2 of a 3-game West Coast trip. The road trip here for Vegas continues with a stop here in Connecticut. Sun lead 33-30. And I believe Robin Brown is down courtside, joined by a member of the Connecticut Sun.
Bree, this team looks like they're playing with more patience on the offensive end. How does the flow feel to you?
The flow feels really good to me. I think we're moving the ball. We're getting into our second actions, and I think we're picking them apart that way.
Switching to the other end of the ball, the defensive game plan, keeping Asia Wilson, Liz Cambage out of the paint. How would you evaluate the pressure you've applied to them?
Yeah, it's a tough matchup always down there, but I think we're doing a good job of making them take tough twos and just keeping everything tough.
Thanks, Bree. Brendan?
Thank you, Robin. Brianna Jones, 4 points, 2 steals in that first half. We will step aside from Mohegan Sun and begin our halftime coverage. Be back in just a bit. Last season down in Bradenton inside the WNBA bubble, these two teams played a phenomenal playoff series. 5 games. Connecticut had a 2-games-to-1 lead. Alyssa Thomas was a factor. We've brought up Asia Wilson's name quite a bit. She was phenomenal, averaged a double-double down there. Rosters are very different. In fact, Wilson, the only active starter from that series back for Las Vegas, and for Connecticut, you factor in Jonquel Jones and the other pieces that have filtered in for Connecticut. It's turned into a very competitive matchup. You know, you look back, too, at last season, Danny, the 2 regular season games in the Wubble, the shortened 22-game season, Vegas totally demolished Connecticut. So to see the Sun come out in Game 1 of that semifinal series and take it to them, and then it turned into a very competitive 5 games. And then to see this first game between the two in Vegas a while back, we're starting to find out, very evenly matched. Second half underway. Connecticut shooting on the right side of Mohegan Sun Arena. Jonquel Jones using her speed to take it to Cambage on the outlet 6 to shoot. Thomas draws the double. Jonquel Jones to the basket. Now has 14 points.
Great finish, great pass, and great find, right? And that's a little bit of what I was talking about with the Aces needing to find A'ja Wilson and put her in places to be successful. That's exactly what Thomas did right there for JJ. Gave her a great pass at the rim.
Wilson once again contested. Jonquel Jones, the bounce into Brianna Jones. Gets her own miss. Shot clock resets.
What a great pass, right? Being able to find your teammates as well. Her assist numbers are up this season. Just couldn't finish.
Brianna January into double figures with 11 points.
I really enjoyed listening to January talk earlier today because she was a coach, right? So she's coming off of coaching, and she talked about how that really helped her be able to communicate what she sees on the court. A lot of times players understand what's going on out there, but trying to put it into words is a little bit difficult, and it's really elevated her leadership on this team.
An all-defensive star in this league. Championship player from Indiana, played her first season with the team in the Wobble, her first year playing in Connecticut. Cambage has been solid at the free throw line. Yeah, Brianna January, very well spoken. It's funny you bring that up. Robin Brown said the same thing to me earlier today. She's just so enjoyable to listen to and just really does give a proper temperature of the room.
Absolutely. And I think it probably killed her to have to be sitting out again with an injury, because whether you're coaching or injured, you're still on the sideline. So you know she wanted to get back out there. And from the get-go here tonight, she's just brought the energy.
Jump shot off the mark this time. Definitely a competitive spirit that is necessary for a championship-ready team. Connecticut has not won a championship in franchise history. Jackie Young continues to struggle, now 1 of 7. Back and forth we go in terms of the rebounding battle, now even at 17. Brianna Jones rattles in and out.
Cambage sort of just said, thank you to Juana Bonner for that offensive rebound. Or for that rebound. Bonner tried to get it from her.
Cambage is a force, has 5 rebounds in this one. Shot clock dwindles to 7. Chelsea Gray awaits the ball screen, decides to trigger. Very tough, too strong. Just the 3rd three-point attempt for Vegas, now 0 for 3. Jasmine Thomas, with 2 defenders, split them and drew the foul.
This is what makes Thomas so good for the Sun. She is one of those players that will take it coast to coast. She is the Energizer Bunny when they need her. And I think picking her moments, she's very smart about it. That's that veteran part of her game. But picking her moments and taking it all the way coast to coast to the rim gives a little spark.
Want to shout out Courtside Moms. Had a chance to tune into their Locker Room app episode earlier today. Jasmine's mother, Sharon, was on the call, and she is present at Mohegan Sun tonight. Very proud of her daughter, of course, but really didn't have much to say, which I actually kind of look at as a compliment in terms of her leadership. It just doesn't surprise her that Jasmine, in 11 years in the W, even time overseas, playing nationally, has been a terrific presence. And of course, she didn't start the season right away due to COVID protocols, but she's fit in seamlessly, setting up her teammates. Connecticut has matched its largest lead of this contest at 7. But we do get a foul. This one is against Jonquel Jones. That is her third, excuse me. We'll keep an eye on that. Wilson drives left and finishes.
That could be a momentum builder for A'ja Wilson, which is not something the Sun wants, but it was a great recognition that she had a driving lane and was able to finish.
Jazz Thomas the spin. Jonquel Jones leaves the 3 short. Great box out by Williams. Last touched by Las Vegas.
Ooh, I don't think Jones realized that January had gotten a little tip on that basketball. They could have had a turnover there.
So that last basket for A'ja Wilson, excuse me. 6 points. Has scored in double figures all 7 games coming into today. 36 straight games in double digits. There she is again. 8 points. And Vegas is within 3.
I had a feeling that that drive there was going to give her a little bit of momentum, and Wilson's not one you want to get hot.
Mohegan Sun Arena, Brendan Glasheen, Danny Kleppinger, and Robin Brown. Great to have you with us on a Tuesday night, the start of June in the WNBA. Connecticut, a league best, 6-2. Las Vegas, just a half game back at 5-2 this season. These two will meet again later this summer here at Mohegan on August 24th. It's the second of a 3-game set. Connecticut won the first matchup by 7 points on a 3-game West Coast trip 9 days ago. Jonquel Jones has had a great game, 14 points. Liz Cambage has matched her with 14 of her own. Nice rebound there by Williams.
You can see DeWanna Bonner getting a little frustrated. She ran down on the other end of the court on that one and just kind of shook her head in frustration. And she's not used to not scoring. I mean, she's had a couple opportunities here and there, but she hasn't really gotten to settle into the flow of the game tonight.
Hamby, a few head fakes, meets Jonquel Jones standing tall. Breon January, wide open look, short. Cambage had it momentarily. Brianna Jones allows the Sun to reset. Under 6 to go in the third quarter. Brianna Jones, comfortable taking that shot, splash.
And no one guarded her. I mean, that's a shot she can knock down from the short corner, kind of the top high post there as well. She can knock those down, and no one's in front of her. Nice little one dribble pull up, get her a little closer, and great extension.
6 points for Brianna Jones. Connecticut by 5. Cambage off the catch. In and out. Cambage season high 18 points. That was at Seattle earlier in the season. Has 14 in this one. Breon January has not been shy, shooting it short once again. Midway through the third. Chelsea Gray, great find on the block. Cambage can't finish.
Chelsea Gray just completely faked me out. I thought she was going up with the shot for that. It was a great find to Cambage down low. Just couldn't handle it and finish it.
Jasmine Thomas wanted 3 in and out. And you said for Wilson, maybe a turning point in the game. The media timeout actually came at maybe the worst time for Las Vegas.
It was not a great timeout, that is for sure. I think it's on her teammates now to get her the ball exactly right there in a position for her to be successful. I mean, that's the only way that you continue to get a player like that involved. She can't do it all, but she can do a lot. But you've got to give her a chance. And that was a great bounce pass, good feed by post player to post player. And now she's at the line for some more freebies. So this could get her that momentum back.
Wilson's first attempts at the free throw line tonight. Las Vegas leads the W in makes, attempts, and free throw percentage this year. Well, and we talked to Bill Laimbeer a bit before the game, and it's been brought up now a few times. It was brought up to Wilson as well, how she and Liz have meshed, and the word Asia used was, we're evolving. Our games are evolving. They're continuing to find ways to make each other better, both bring out the best in each other, because last year Liz did not play in the Wobble season, so it's their first year playing together.
I actually thought that conversation was fascinating when Asia Wilson was talking about playing with Cambage today. She said, you know, we also realized that people can't double team us as much, right? So there's not as much limbs, I think is what she called it. There aren't enough flying limbs around that we're used to, so they're able to have a little bit of fun, having a little bit more freedom. Tough foul there for Cambage, but a good heads-up play by JJ. That's what makes her so tough, right? She can attack and then also fade away. Draws a foul.
Jonquel Jones now a game-high 15 points, 5 of 9 from the field. 5 rebounds, 3 blocks. Now 16. The stat lines for Jonquel and Liz Cambage basically the same across the board.
Cambage frustrated there. She had great position down low. Her teammates just did not find her.
Hamby out of the spin, outlets. Williams has been a good three-point shooter this year. This is her second attempt. Connecticut wants to run. Under 4 to go in the third. Connecticut's largest lead, 7 points, turned over. Bonner has had a really difficult time getting her offensive game going. Gray on the fadeaway, in and out. Rebound to Bonner.
Bonner's really frustrated, and you can see it. I think it's visible at this point. She's had a couple of tough turnovers, couple of missed shots. Like I said, she hasn't settled into the game yet, and we're pretty deep into this thing right now. She's clapping her hands, her head, she's looking up towards the sky right now, walking down on the other side of the court. She's frustrated, talking to herself, and that's early on. She had a couple turnovers, and she tried to force things in transition a little bit, and I think that maybe that threw her off of her own game a little. It's interesting to see her have that little bit of an inner struggle right now.
Just the second turnover for Connecticut in the quarter. The team has 11 so far in this one. As we come up on 3 minutes to go in the third, Cambage finds position and puts it in. 16 for Liz Cambage. We all know she can score. Just 3 years ago with Dallas, dropped 53 in a game, a WNBA record. Can impact the game in so many different ways. Bonner falls away, got it. And perhaps that is a turning point for the 12-year vet. Back the other way, Hamby running the floor. All good to get your game going. We got to get back on defense.
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying. The Sun not always great and locked in and getting back on defense.
Around the screen, Jasmine Thomas, true.
It's funny you bring up that 53-point game for Cambage because Raquana Williams had a 51-point game a few years prior to that. Some true scorers on this Aces team.
The Cambage, great elusiveness in the paint. I think she has a reaction every time she scores. It's fun to watch.
It is really fun to watch. She is locked in. She wants this, and I think she's just trying to get her teammates to want it as bad as she does, because right when she gets down there on the offensive end of the floor, she is banging for position.
Floater by Thomas, gets her own miss. Bonner, triple. Off the mark, another offensive rebound. Brianna Jones is there. Heidemann fakes, sets it up, tees it, swirls it. Hold on a second. There was a whistle on the baseline as that ball was launched.
Wow. Heidemann said, put everyone to sleep. Don't sleep on me. Watch her reaction. What are they seeing down there on the rebound? I imagine this basket will count.
Well, that was my next question. Kurt Miller is livid, animated as always.
The foul was definitely happening inside on the rebound. They were fighting hard for it, but that's the point here that Kurt Miller is trying to make, is if it was on the rebound, the shot would have already been in the air.
Still a good three from Heidemann at this moment. Now, Bill Lambier, of course, would love to see it get taken away.
I don't see how you could take that away. The whole shot was up in the air, and the reason the foul was happening was on the rebound.
Bonner checks out. Three-point basket is good for Natisha Heidemann. And Connecticut up 6. Heidemann knocks it away. Pestering on defense per usual.
Talk about a spark plug. Heidemann is certainly one of those. She comes in, makes plays defensively, and then now can knock down shots. Her role is increasing. She did the prayer hands on her face after making that three. It got kind of taken away from her because the moment did, because of that little scuffle down there. But she said, don't sleep on me. You can't.
Cambage and one. 20 points for Liz Cambage. That's a new season high. And she has a message for the crowd here at Mohegan Sun.
Don't sleep on Liz Cambage either. She is bringing the energy. She wants this game, Brendan.
21 points, 8 of 12 from the field. (50-47). Heidemann way off the mark. Back the other way, Sun have to get back. And that's the rookie. This time the other way, Destiny Slocum catching the Sun off guard.
Great push in transition. That's something the Aces like to do. We've talked about it all night. Way to capitalize on a very poor shot by Heidemann.
Slocum averages just 11 minutes per game for Las Vegas. 7 so far logged in this one. On the season, 2 for 3 from the free throw line. 3 different stops in college: Maryland, Oregon State, and the last stop is a redshirt senior at Arkansas.
Yeah, Brendan, I'm from Oregon. We're big Oregon State fans.
Yeah,
we
that's
watched
right.
a lot of Slocum. Nice to see her here in the W.
The Beavers. 2-point game. Heidemann steps back. Maybe a bit of a heat check. There's a 16-second differential, game clock and shot clock. Gray all the way to the rim. Little to no pressure there. Montpremier with the rebound.
Gray has been taking some really tough shots, and I think she's getting a little frustrated that they're not falling. She's forced a few of them. That one was actually a good look there down on the block, and one I'm sure she wishes she could have back to finesse it a bit more.
Jasmine Thomas pounded into the paint. Montpremier set up for a beautiful jumper. Las Vegas can hold for the final shot of the third quarter. And an offensive foul. It's against Cambage. And the crowd sends it back her way.
Well, it made me a little nervous there because watch the way she drops down. You almost thought she got some sort of knee injury there, so I'm just glad to see her walking back and taunting the crowd back with her, because whether she agreed with the play or not, it looked a little dangerous.
Heidemann's whirl does not go. Connecticut's lead, 4 points at the end of the third quarter. We make the turn for home at Mohegan Sun, a good one. About to finish up. Fourth quarter about to begin at Mohegan Sun. Connecticut leads Las Vegas 52-48. Brendan Glasheen, Danny Kleppinger, Robin Brown down on the floor. Thanks for being with us tonight. One of 4 games in the W. We had the first one of the night in terms of start time. We're in for a great finish. And speaking of Robin, let's go to Robin now.
Well, Brendan, inside that last huddle, Kurt Miller was telling his team to challenge yourself to be better, to defensively stay strong, and every time that there's a play and there's a whistle blown, to come together, to huddle up and stay together even through Vegas's made shots.
Thank you very much, Robin. That's something we heard from Las Vegas in media calls today about someone's going to make their run. And just like Cambage there, Danny, she's going to have her moments where she has her way, makes an and one. How do you regroup, get together, and quell the enthusiasm?
It's a great point, because that's where his team does need to lock in, because you've seen a couple baskets by Wilson, you've seen some big baskets by Cambage, and those are moments that can create momentum for the Aces, like one right there. And the Sun need to make sure that it doesn't affect their game, their headspace, doesn't make them lose any sort of confidence, especially in a close game down the wire where they haven't had a ton of success in a close battle.
The reigning MVP, Asia Wilson, skies in for the rebound, now has 12 points, double-digit scoring in 37 straight regular season games. Makes it 38 tonight, swirls home that bunny. 14 now for Wilson. And Vegas has tied the game at 52. The Aces have only led for like 20 seconds of this basketball game.
right? But they're doing exactly what they had talked about coming into this game, which was just sustaining, right? They're not going on any crazy leads or where they're ahead for a long period of time, but certainly capitalizing and playing solid.
Cambage contested look, great straight up tee. The follow goes. She says, who's gonna stop me? 23 points for Liz Cambage, and timeout Kurt Miller.
Twirled herself off the court. That was impressive. She's twisting herself, turning and twirling, pretty thrilled with what she just accomplished there. Grabs her own rebound, muscles it back up, twirling.
Just the third time Las Vegas has had the lead tonight. That was against Beatrice Montpremier. Jonquel Jones does have 3 personal fouls, so curious to see. It looks like she's going to check back in now after the Kurt Miller timeout.
Yeah, and that's something that will come. I mean, that's just a youthful mistake. You got to push back, especially in the fourth quarter like this in a close game. You got to make sure that you get your booty, your back into Cambage and push her out. At least then maybe you get a chance for that over the back call.
Las Vegas, 2-point lead, turnover, Dewana Bonner. Number 12 overall for Connecticut in this one. Vegas has turned it over 9 times. Wilson slings it, and off the fingertips of Hamby. She knew she had a good look, and it went right off the fingertips. So back-to-back possessions, each team turns it over.
Crowd here at the Mohegan Sun trying to get into it and give their home team a little bit of momentum, some extra cheers. This is a big possession.
Whistle underneath.
Las Vegas foul number 24, Destiny Slocum. That's her first.
Against Slocum, her first.
Brendan, we're in a game where actually every possession at this point is crucial. So the locked in, the focus in every position from here on out is very important because it could come down to a 1-possession game.
Around the pick, 3 seconds for Jasmine Thomas with the left. Counted and 1. She had total control, whirling around the paint and got it off just in time.
Great play off of that top screen there. She sees the lane, just puts her head down and gets all the way to the rim, finishes with contact, and that's why she's one of their reliable leaders. Shows up in the big moments.
And the lead evaporates for Las Vegas once again. Connecticut up 1. Jasmine Thomas has 9. Cambage, the leader in this one, with 23. Hamby has the room, goes back inside. Cambage, 25 points. She has words for Brianna Jones.
Great poise by Hamby to let her teammate Cambage get in there and post up again. Give her a chance to repost, get position, and go back at her.
Cambage continues to add to her season high, 10 of 15 from the field.
Las Vegas foul number 24, Destiny
Slocum picks up another foul. That's the second. Check that, the third, excuse me, against Las Vegas in this fourth quarter. Breon January checks in for Natisha Heidemann. 7 points for Heidemann in this one, 1 of 4 from 3. 1-point lead for Las Vegas off the hands of Jonquel Jones.
I imagine, Brendan, when the Sun go back and watch this film, they're going to notice that a lot of those turnovers were self-inflicted. It wasn't anything that the Aces were forcing them to do. There was just a lot of different miscommunications. I don't know if they're just a little fatigued still, and so that's what's forcing them to be slightly off the same page, but still building chemistry. 8th game in the season.
Connecticut trying to keep its home record perfect, 3-0 coming in. Vegas has won 3 straight since that loss to the Sun. Jonquel Jones out of the jab, on the double, shovels it in. Brianna Jones is denied. Las Vegas thought it had all ball. Brianna Jones will take it and go to the line.
It's a great take by JJ. Good find there, and way to go up strong. I mean, Asia Wilson not happy with that call whatsoever, but Jones earned her spot to the line here.
first attempts at the line. Connecticut much better at the free throw line in this one, 12 of 13. Missed several free throws last Friday here at Mohegan against Washington. The lead continues to teeter. Now it's back Connecticut's way, 57-56 with 6.5 to go. Great to have you with us for Tuesday Night Hoops in the WNBA. Brendan Glasheen, Danny Kleppinger, and Robin Brown. Cam Beige has been the story, still at 25, could not finish. Breon January around a couple of screens. Thomas bounce feed. Jonquel Jones, 4-3.
She has proved that she can kick it into high gear if her team needs her.
21 made threes to lead the team. Cam Beige, basically 5 white jerseys around her. It does not matter. Count the basket plus the foul.
There was a lot of time in the key there. There was a possible travel. That's why Dewana Bonner is up at the ref right now with her hands up in the air. What's going on? But what's going on is Cam Beige is in town.
Welcome back to Mohegan Sun. Just under 6 to go in regulation. Connecticut leads Las Vegas 60-58. This Cam Beige to the free throw line to try and complete a three-point play. Back in 2019, she did not play last year, opted out of the 2020 season, received a health waiver from the W. Had just 6 20-point games, did not score 30 at all in 2019, had several 30-plus point games in 2018 with Dallas. Everyone remembers the 53 she scored in a contest. Now she's got 28. Her squad within 1. Brianna Jones, her shot deflected. Chelsea Gray looks up 4. Cam Beige wants it every time now, Danny.
Absolutely. She's got a point for almost every minute she's played. She's played 30 minutes. She's got 28 points. I mean, she's earned it. And every single time, since the start of this game, Brendan, she has wanted the ball. And she has made her position on the block known. She is calling for the ball. She is banging inside. She has wanted this game from the tip. And she's showing us just how strong she is.
If you are just joining us, Cam Beige and Connecticut Sun head coach Curt Miller did meet before the game. Hugged it out on the deflection. Brianna Jones, right place, right time after Miller's words towards Cam Beige in a game 9 days ago. Cam Beige was not pleased about it. The league gave Curt Miller a 1-game suspension, but they cleared the air, and it was a nice moment. But as we talked about to start the game, we knew Cam Beige would have motivation to come in hot in this one, and that's been exactly the case.
Yeah, I laughed even before the game. You know, it's great that they reconciled, and I think that that's very important, especially to move forward. But it only happened 9 days ago, right? I mean, that's not a comment that you forget. And although you may forgive, you certainly don't forget it that quickly, especially when it concerns a personal aspect of your own, right? So she's making her presence known today. We knew she'd be playing with a little chip on her shoulder and wanting to get it done. And she's brought the energy. She's brought the finesse at the basket. She is really trying to make sure that her team does not let down in this situation.
Well, it's something we can all appreciate. They reconcile, as you mentioned, and then let the basketball do the talking. And she is letting her game speak for itself tonight here in Connecticut. Jasmine Thomas could not put it in. Very close. It just glazed the rim. We do get a foul. This one.
Las Vegas, loose ball foul, number 22,
It's going against Asia Wilson of Las Vegas. That is her 3rd. A check at her 2nd personal. And now the Sun is in the bonus with still 4:42 left. Another 20-point game for Jonquel Jones, right at her season average. And every time, Danny, Vegas comes down and throws a punch, Connecticut's had a response.
Which is important, and that's how you sustain through those runs by the other team. When the aces are clawing back, that's when you have to stay as locked in as you can, right? That's why I'm saying every possession counts, especially here in the fourth quarter, because with every punch thrown, they got to have a response and can't get too emotional about that punch.
Jonquel Jones spins in the paint, contested by Wilson. She is called for a foul. Bill Laimbeer. In these parts, especially in New England, we see what happens when he gets upset. Has words for the official.
Jonquel Jones does a good job of drawing body contact, and although she's fading away from the rim, the refs are noticing just that contact, right? And it's working towards her benefit, and definitely not something that Laimbeer really agrees with because of that fade away at the end. But she's very aware of what she's doing. She's driving towards her opponent. She's making sure that there is some sort of contact there in order to possibly draw a foul, and it's worked out in her favor.
Jonquel Jones up to 23 points to go along with 7 rebounds. Jonquel is 9 for 10 from the free throw line tonight, upping her 75% mark on the year. Clean jumper for Jackie Young. Nice for her to see that one go in. Was 1 for 8 prior to that shot. It's her first points of the night, or her second points of the night, excuse me. 66-61. Jonquel Jones saves it. Reverses to Bonner. Tight window, Brianna Jones. Great hesitation. Gathered herself and lays it in.
Definitely gathered herself there. That was a risky pass by DeWanna Bonner, and the way that this game has gone for Bonner, I'm surprised that she took the risk there, but it paid off.
Turnover, Chelsea Gray, excuse me. 7-point game. Connecticut has matched its largest lead at this one. Not once has a team led in double figures in this contest as we come up on 3 to play. Breon January in the post. Bonner, easy basket. 6 now for DeWanna Bonner. And a timeout taken by Bill Laimbeer. Largest lead of the night for Connecticut, 9. Easy baskets coming constantly. Be sure to join us on Saturday when Connecticut plays host to the New York Liberty, which is back in action on Thursday, hosting these Las Vegas Aces. New York is at 5-2, and of course we will welcome in one of the young stars in the W, Sabrina Ionescu. But work to be done now. 3 minutes left. Connecticut up 9. Brendan Glasheen, Danny Kleppinger, and Robin Brown. You believe this is a big defensive possession for the Suns.
It's a huge defensive possession. 9-point game, 3 minutes to go. Don't give them any momentum. Keep this lead, continue to extend it.
Jackie Young leans in, tough shot, back iron. Bonner with the rebound.
With the way the Sun play offensively, how patient they are, they use the entire clock. Getting stops in those situations are crucial.
Credit to DeWanna Bonner, not having her best scoring night, but impacting the game in other ways. Has had at least 5 rebounds in every game this year. Shot clock's to 4. Bree Jones doesn't see the clock. Bonner heaves.
Wow!
Count the 3. There was dead silence in this arena, and a smile for DB.
Count the bucket. That's a heads-up veteran heave, and she knocks it down on top of it. What a great play for DeWanna Bonner.
Quick basket for Chelsea Gray. I was waiting for the official to potentially blow the whistle and take a look at this.
It was a long 2 seconds on that shot clock. I agree. It felt like it was long. It felt like the ball that DeWanna Bonner shot hung in the air for quite some time as well. It was a great heads-up shot by a veteran player. I'm surprised she had the time to get it off.
So now they're going to take a look at this. This was after Chelsea Gray comes down and knocks in a pull-up jumper.
Right, which you would think negates the chance to be able to go look and see if this counted, because there's already been another basket since this happened. I don't know if she got it off.
Connecticut knows firsthand what it felt like to see a long three go in but not count. That was the case when Leisha Clarendon, former Sun, newest member of Minnesota. So I should say Minnesota knows how it feels to have it taken away. As it turns out, they still won. So now the basket for Gray is also taken away. Right now the scoreboard in the arena reads 73-63. Minute 40 to go. Gray falls back and knocks it in. So now it's a 5-point game. Looks like we're all squared away. Yep, the 3 points have been taken away. So Bonner's three doesn't go. Gray makes up for the basket she did have a few moments back. Brianna Jones puts her head down. Doesn't finish. Brianna January with the save. Sun can reset, take this under a minute.
That was a huge hustle play, and that's where that coaching mindset comes into play. She understands that she needed to run down that basketball and give her team another shot at an offensive possession there.
Jasmine Thomas.
It was a great take. It was a great take. She got it up on the rim. These veteran players are playing heads-up basketball, which is what you need.
And that hustle play by Brianna January, an example of what didn't happen on Sunday in Minnesota. Those extra possessions allowed Minnesota down 8 with less than 2 minutes left to get back in that game.
Great heads-up play by Brianna January to hustle that ball down and give her team a chance for another possession. And then Thomas, you know, a reliable leader here for the Sun, able to put more points on the board.
Cambage swings it. Hamby three, well strong. And it looks like Cambage is hit with an over-the-back call.
It was a bit of a frustration foul. It was almost after the rebound was completely out of her sight. That's why she kind of walked away from it. That was a miss. She knew it was out of her possession, and I think she just kind of knocked her down there. She walked away not arguing that. She knew it was a foul. There's a little bit of frustration there.
28-point night for Liz Cambage. Was pivotal for this Las Vegas team to hang around. Cambage checks out. Slocum checks in. 28 in the game. If this is the last we see of Cambage tonight. It was a terrific performance. A lot of fun to watch.
She's so fun to watch, especially when she's up and hyped like that. It's very entertaining.
Sun up 9. Wilson to Young, wide open, drains it. Down to 7 with 37.5 seconds to go. Connecticut beat this Vegas team 72-65 9 days ago in Las Vegas. 15-second differential. Game clock, shot clock, great feed. Jasmine Thomas, an offensive foul. Great draw by Slocum, the rookie.
Yeah, it was a great way to sell it too. An unfortunate call there for Thomas. It was a great drive, but Slocum came right over to the lane, set herself up for it. Great heads-up play by the rookie.
16 seconds. Hamby. Aces have to get a shot off here. 9 seconds.
Taking too long.
Gray's taking her time. Penetrates the lane. Doesn't finish. Bonner to the rescue, and we do get a whistle from the official at half court. Kurt Miller doesn't understand what it is.
I don't think any of the players understand what it is.
Well, Kurt didn't call timeout. An inverted whistle. All right, looks like the final seconds will trickle down. And that'll do it. The Connecticut Sun improves to 7-2 on the season, 4-0 at home here at Mohegan, and now 2-0 against Las Vegas in 2021.
Another great overall team effort by the Sun. They did a great job of pushing back when the Aces tried to step on the pedal to the metal. The Aces got the lead a couple times in this game, and the Sun just hung together, stuck to their game plan, and really didn't wither when things weren't going their way. And that's how you sustain yourself through drives like that. And it was a fantastic win for the Sun, and this has got to feel good knowing they have a day off tomorrow. And
now more than a quarter of the way through the season, the best record in the W. We'll be back to wrap things up at Mohegan Sun, Connecticut, 7-2. Connecticut Sun now 7-2 on the season, 4-0 at home with a 74-67 win over Las Vegas. Robin Brown is courtside with Jasmine Thomas.
Jazz, a huge win tonight against Las Vegas. You guys have been in tight games where you weren't able to close them out. What was the difference tonight?
In our huddles, in our timeouts, we just kept reminding each other of the games that we didn't finish and what we needed to do down the stretch. So it was rebounding, it was being locked in defensively, and whatever they were going to try to do, whether it was pound or try to get a three off, just, you know, being on point. The energy wasn't there all game, but in that last few minutes there, that's exactly the energy we need to play with earlier in the game.
Well, defensively, part of the scheme was keeping Liz Cambage and Asia Wilson out of the paint, and Liz was productive, but how did you guys keep that composure defensively?
I mean, they're dominant players. They're hard to guard for sure. They just keep attacking you all game. I think for us it was more so trying to defend without fouling. That's also something in the last few games, our bigs getting in foul trouble. So, you know, I'm proud of them being able to defend her, still, you know, attack her when we were on offense and, you know, finish the game without fouling out.
When you're in that point guard position, you know, you're vocal in the huddle. What's your message so everyone is locked in?
I mean, we're just doing this together, you know, taking every possession seriously, getting our best shot, moving the ball. You know, we have great one-on-one players, but we're a great team when we play together and the ball is moving and we're sprinting into actions. I think that's the thing that I kept hearing all game from Kurt, from my teammates. It's just, you know, we got to move the ball. We got to keep playing. We can't be slow to actions. And, you know, we're scary when we play like that because any night anybody can contribute and just go off. But on nights like tonight, it's balanced. We play together and we come out with a win against a good team.
Well, congrats on the win in front of your family as well,
Yeah.
Jazz.
Thank you. I'm happy they're here. They had fun.
Brendan?
Thank you, Robin. Shout out to Jasmine's mom, Sharon. She was here earlier today and taking in the atmosphere of Mohegan Sun. One of 4 players to score in double figures. Danny had 11 points, 6 assists, and just looking now at the stat sheet, Connecticut had 16 assists on 24 made baskets, and it's a great way to put it. On some nights, Jonquel might have a big night. Dewana Bonner, a night like tonight, it was a really balanced effort.
It was great to see how Jasmine Thomas just mentioned how scary they are when they can put everything together. I think it's almost scarier to see what they can do when they learn from something. The way that they were able to close that game out and make the adjustments down the stretch, stay locked in and keep the energy up to be able to walk away with a win tonight against a very, very good Las Vegas team is definitely a good sign moving forward for the Sun. And like you said, anybody can step up on this team, and it's great to see that 1-2 punch of Brianna Jones and Jonquel Jones do particularly well tonight.
So that'll do it for us from Mohegan Sun Arena. Connecticut now 7-2, 4-0 at home. Las Vegas 3-game win streak is over. Vegas now 5-3, 2-2 on the road, heading to New York on Thursday. We'll see the New York Liberty here at Mohegan Sun on Saturday, 7 o'clock tip-off. We will join you then. For Danny Kleppinger, Robin Brown, Brendan Glass-Sheen saying so long, good night from Connecticut.